All right, got my boy Sai with me today, and we're going to be talking about Luffy's next power-up because I think it may have been revealed in the latest chapter of 1114 when we see the Mother Flame. So, Saturn is like going through Egghead trying to stop Vegapunk's transmission until he eventually comes across the room that has like the chamber with the Mother Flame inside of it. So the Mother Flame is implied to be like the fuel source for the ancient weapon Uranus that is being used by Emu and the world government to destroy certain parts of the world, certain islands, like we saw her take out, or him or her take out Lelusia, put a hole into the ocean as a result, and it raised the sea level, which is going into Vegapunk's whole other theory about why the world will be flooded. But we're going to mainly be focusing on the Mother Flame and how it relates to Luffy and his next possible power-up. So, first of all, I just want to put it out there, I don't think that Gear 5, or what we see of him, is Luffy's like last power up. Like, I don't think that's the peak of his power. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree. There's no way that we've seen the pinnacle of Luffy before we fought Emu or Blackbeard. You know, we need one more good power up by the time we hit those fights. And I think you're right. I think the Mother Flame could be key to what we're going to be looking at in the future.
And just me personally made me think that this probably relates to Luffy in some way. It's just because of the aesthetic of it. Like, it looks, you know, kind of like Luffy's hair in a way, kind of. It actually looks more like Joy Boy's hair, if anything. Like, when we got that silhouette of Joy Boy when Who's Who was first talking about him, his hair is like a flame, more so than what Luffy's is, right?
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
So this probably in some way is tied to Joy Boy. Now, I don't know exactly how. I mean, we do know that Joy Boy did have the Nika fruit, or at least it's heavily implied that he did at some point. But another thing just about the Nika fruit in general, before we get more into the Mother Flame, is that it's Sun God Nika. And it's weird that there's nothing sun about him in his devil fruit form. He's just rubber and Toon Force. There's like no fire or sun stuff. That's weird, right?
Yeah. Okay, so like it's so strange when you think about it, right? Because Luffy is the sun god, but nobody talks about, wow, like how Luffy's hot, you know, he's burning up. No, dude. He's only done that twice with Red Rock and Red Hawk. And it's like we don't even know like what the Gear 5th equivalent of that is yet. And Luffy just straight up has not really utilized the fire aspects of his zone yet. So I think you're right. Like if there is a Gear 6th, I think fire is going to be, you know, it's going to be a key factor.
Yeah, so that's ultimately what we're getting at here. There will be a Gear 6. Like, there kind of has to be. And it will probably be, like, his fire form. I'm just thinking about that right now. Maybe that relates to, like, Ace being his brother and having the Marimara no Mi. I don't know, maybe that was, like, subtle foreshadowing there or something. I mean,
oh, yeah.
We'll go over more subtle foreshadowing. But also, you already brought up Red Hawk. When he first does the Red Hawk, it's in Fishman Island, right? Like, underwater?
Yep.
Is that supposed...
Fishman Island underwater.
Yeah, is that supposed to parallel to the Mother Flame here? Because it is, like, a flame underwater. I don't know. Knowing
that could be a nice tie-in. Yeah. Nice little nod to that. Or if you saw the 3D2Y special, where Luffy fights a guy named Brundy World, we get this really cool sequence where you see Ace doing the exact same pose and exact same attack, which for Ace, of course, it's Fire Fist, not Red Hawk. But that's also nice as well.
Right. Yeah, I forgot that guy.
It's like passing on the torch of D, really.
That is true. As Joy Boy did, as we will find out. So, another thing about this Mother Flame relates to some of the mythology that Oda has based Luffy and Sun God Nika off of. We talked about this like 2 years ago. This was like when Gear 5 was first revealed. Everybody was like, oh my god, it's Hanuman. Oh my god, Bajrangabali. Because, you know, in Hinduism, we have Hanuman, also known as Bajrangabali. He's a deity, and it seems like Oda somewhat based him off of Luffy or Sun God Nika to some extent. Also, it's kind of evident because the final attack that Luffy uses against Kaido is called the Bajrang Gun, which is also like another name of Hanuman here with Bajrangabali. And Hanuman, like in one of the stories, straight up eats the sun when he mistakes it for a fruit, which is
classic.
Pretty interesting. We've all been there.
And that's kind of nuts. Kind of like, you got to be a god, dude. Just you'll look up, you're like, yo, I see an apple up there, and you just eat the sun by accident. That's kind of insane. That's a power scaling.
It makes you think, like, okay, is Oda even going to go further than that? And is Luffy going to eat the Mother Flame?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess if we wanted the Mother Flame, we could just take it with us, huh? Luffy could just eat it. I don't think there would be any downsides to it, considering it's, Gear 5th Luffy we're talking about.
I mean, he could do it. He could just turn it to rubber, I guess, and then absorb it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when you really think about it, how do we even, take the Mother Flame out of the tank, right? Like, can you just pick it up? We don't really have any idea.
Yeah, I mean, just what the Mother Flame is in general, it's still unknown. It kind of does resemble the flame on the Lunarians. I don't know if it means that it comes from the Lunarians, because the Lunarians do have like that quote-unquote eternal flame that's on the back of them, which I guess is supposed to parallel to the Mother Flame, because it's, I don't know, maybe originally it was like an eternal power source in the Ancient Kingdom or something, because I think that's what Lilith was talking about or something. Like they had some kind of crazy power source that they can't replicate to this day, and she says like, oh, we can power the whole island or the whole world if we had that, something like our own sun that they would be able to create.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that Lilith says that?
Yeah.
Lilith says that. She's like, yeah, like, I wish we had an eternal flame. And then we come here and we see the Mother Flame, and it's like, wait, so is this flame not perfect yet? That's kind of the vibes I'm getting. Like, maybe this flame is only 99% complete, and, they're just on the cusp of getting that eternal flame. I'm not too sure, because it would be strange if Lilith didn't know about this, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess she was probably helping in creating this to some extent if York knows how to make it.
Yeah.
And also, maybe the whole thing about being imperfect could also parallel to Luffy, how he like gets tired in Gear 5 and becomes like an old man.
Oh yeah, if he had an eternal flame, then he wouldn't have to worry about running out of energy, huh?
Yeah, and maybe that could further alluding to what his next power-up is. And also, we were talking about this before, but what was it, 1028? We see like that cover spread on the front of the chapter, which is like promoting Smash Brothers or something. And we see Luffy dressed as like Ken, and he has like fire hair and fire fists. Now, of course, that's not like literally canon. It's just, like a color spread for that chapter. But it could be Oda just foreshadowing what Luffy is eventually going to become, like what his true Sun God Nika form is.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, like 1028, that came out well before Gear 5th too, so even with this color spread alone, it was already alluding to Gear 5th and how Luffy is, fire-based. But also, another reason why I think Gear 6 is going to be a thing is because of Luffy's iconic number of 5-6, which is Gomu. And it's like, we already got the 5, just give us the 6 and it would be perfect.
Yeah, I always thought about that too.
Just complete it.
And also, maybe it's like hinting at his ending bounty, because like Roger's bounty was like 5.5 bill, so I guess Luffy's will have to be like 5.6 bill, something like that.
Yeah, I think 5.6 is very modest too, because like if Luffy was like a 7 billion berry bounty guy, it would make Roger kind of look like a chump. So I think 5.6 would be really respectable to Roger, and hey, Gear 6.
Gear 6, when he fights Emu, or one of them. And speaking of Emu, I don't know how accurate this could be, but when we see Emu cutting up those bounty pictures back at the original Reverie, it was like 908, somewhere around there, I forget the exact chapter, but she's like she is cutting up Luffy, Blackbeard, and Shirahoshi's pictures. And now that we see where things are headed with the ancient weapons, that could be alluding to what the ancient weapons are inevitably going to be, or some kind of like parallel to them, because obviously Shirahoshi is Poseidon. And we see that Blackbeard probably will get Pluton, since Caribou is essentially going to tell him where Pluton is located, which is in Wano. And then the last is Uranus with Luffy. Now we're talking about him getting the Mother Flame. That could be something there.
Oh yeah, no wait, actually I see that. Yeah, I never thought of it like that actually. Yeah, Blackbeard could get Pluton, Luffy could get Uranus, and then Shirahoshi, since she is Poseidon, she's just another ancient weapon. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to like use it for not destroying things. Maybe there's multiple purposes for Uranus. Maybe you just don't have to blast holes into the earth or something.
Yeah, I feel like there could even be like another Uranus too. Like what we saw at Lucia hasn't been confirmed to be Uranus yet. So maybe it's like a Uranus 2.0. Maybe it's like a prototype Uranus that Vegapunk created. And then the real one is at Elbaf, possibly.
Oh, yeah, I guess that could be a possibility too. I didn't think about that.
Because, like, for us, the audience, like, not knowing if it's Uranus or not, that kind of makes sense. But when you see the Gorosei talking about, destroying Leloucia, they're talking about, like, the Mother Flame, right? And it's like, wait, like, why are they calling this the Mother Flame? Why not call it Uranus? So
Yeah,
that always kind of like struck a weird chord with me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was just classic. I always just assumed it was classic Oda, just like waiting to reveal.
Yeah.
And then one last thing I guess we can go over, other than what Gear 6 could be aside from the fire stuff, is like in the latest chapters when Luffy is fighting against Mercury, when he's like punching him, like his hand, you know, gets welted from his like intense durability or whatever, and like his hand catches on fire as well, and we see that like happen twice. Like, is that probably further foreshadowing that, like, yeah, he is going to get, like, these fire powers?
Bro, he needs to, man. Like I said, somebody being called the Sun God, like, you need sun-based abilities. Like, Luffy does not use fire that often. It's like Luffy's only unlocked 50% of his abilities. And you mentioned this earlier, but, like, there could be a chance that Luffy could turn into the actual Sun God, right? He is a zoan. What we're seeing right now, I don't know if this is his full zoan form. It kind of just strikes me as a hybrid form, right? Because he looks like Luffy, but he also looks a little bit like the Sun God. So it does make me wonder, like, what a full zoan form would look like.
Oh.
Like, would he be, like, all fire?
I didn't even think about that.
Would he get the sun in fear?
That's perfect. I didn't even think about that. Like, hybrid form and the full form. It's like, yeah, technically, we don't know what's going on with him right now. We've only seen him in his, like, white Nika form. Ah, that could be it.
Yeah, but like with zoans too, like with human zoans, it's always so strange because we only have a couple of other examples, which is there's the fox from Wano, Onimaru. And he has the Onyudo fruit, which transforms him into a completely different person. He literally does not look like a fox when he uses his devil fruit. He looks like a giant monk. And then we have Sengoku, who we don't really know if that was his hybrid or zoan, but he could turn into a Buddha. And it's like, yeah, human fruits are just strange in general. But I mean, if Onimaru could use their mythical human fruit to turn into a completely different looking person, like no fur whatsoever, I think there is a chance that Luffy could go full zoan and just become Sun God Nika. And, you know, we talked about that silhouette earlier, and I'm like a broken record because I bring this up every time, but it's like, yo, Sun God Nika had a sword and a spear. Like, there's a chance that if Luffy goes into that form, he could get those weapons too.
Yeah. I was waiting for that too. I was like, is Luffy just never going to have those weapons, or is he going to have them symbolically in some way? Because he's just, you know, he's supposed to parallel to Joy Boy in every way, right? So there has to be some kind of sword and spear to some extent.
Yeah, people are saying that's Sanji and Zoro, and I like that. I think that would be poetic, but if that were the case, I mean, I guess it would mess up the silhouette. I was about to say, they should have given him, like, wings, you know? Because Sanji and Zoro are, like, the wings of the Pirate King. But I guess that would just straight up change his race if they did that, so maybe not.
Yeah, but that's, I guess that's pretty much it. Luffy's next power-up will be the Sun God. He will be, like...
Fire.
He'll have fire powers, essentially.
Yeah, and you saw how that affected Saturn, right? Like, that guy was grossed out by the fire.
Yeah, he
walked into the room. He walked into the room. He said, "Ugh, ah."
Yeah, why? Ugh. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and he knew he was coming here. Yeah, like he knew he was coming to the room with the Mother Flame, and he was still jump scared by the fire. It's like, dang, dude, that's crazy. I'm excited, man. I want to see Luffy's new gear, and I'm also excited to see like what color this flame is in general, because we don't really have a good context for that, right? It could be white, it could be blue, could be red.
Yeah. As soon as we get like the colored of this sequence, it's probably like purple or something.
You think purple?
No. I'm just assuming it's going to be orange, but maybe it could be red or white or blue.
Ooh, yeah, you know what? I think red is good. Yeah, just like a really like not dark red, maybe like bright red. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Check out Sai's channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to it, please. And yeah, have a great day, guys. See you in the next one.
You can find my channel over at youtube.com/Zhoniin.
Nice.
That's where I put all my content out.
Nice try.